Around, a special all-kids edition of Missouri Outdoors. I'm trying to learn some fly fishing tips from local expert Kurt Morgret of Trout Unlimited.
Throw it back, you'll feel it tighten up, and you just let it slip through your fingers a little bit.
Here we go.
Power on the back cast, a little bit of power on
I think this is going to be a lot harder than it looks. Fishing is the theme of today's show. Fishing, fish, fishermen, and the water they love. Speaking of the aquatic environment, throughout the show we're going to be looking in on the 6th grade class from Willard, Missouri. They're on an environmental odyssey, a field trip on a massive scale. The purpose is to get the students in touch with their environment and give them an opportunity to use the skills they've been learning all year. I think this means that a lot of people are going to get very wet. But that's not all. We're going to take a really close look at Missouri's waters and what lives in them. That means checking out bluegill, paddlefish, and trout, and the people that love them, like these guys. We're just kidding around with fish, fishing, and you. Come on! I never knew that life under the surface was so, well, complicated. There's a lot going on down there. And that's what the 6th grade at Willard School is going to find out on their environmental odyssey. Throughout the year, teachers at the Willard School emphasize exploring the natural world in their reading, lectures, and lesson plans. And then it's the students' turn to get out in it during the annual Environmental Odyssey. Stations are set up along the Sac River near Springfield, and small groups of students study mapping, reading, language, water quality, and recreation in the most magnificent classroom of all, the great outdoors. But it's their story. Let's hear them tell it.
You know what the best thing about school is? Getting out of school. That's why there's nothing rowdier than a bunch of 6th graders on a field trip.
Tigers! Mighty, mighty tigers! Yeah! Give it up! Give it up!
All year we've been studying reading, math, science, all with an environmental theme. And it leads to this, our environmental odyssey, where we get to put what we've learned to the test in the great outdoors.
We're going to be between the 2 bridges. So right as you walk down those 2 bridges, we're going to meet right there each time. And that's workshop 5.
A little bit of chaos and we're off the bus and into the woods for our first station. Reading.
So nothing he could do, not really. It was full light now, warm with the sun drying.
The reading station involves describing the world around us. First, we listen to how other writers have done it. Then it's our turn.
I'm going to hold up 3 different things, okay? Be prepared to write the most descriptive paragraph that you can possibly come up with.
The bark is a grayish ground color. There are many holes in it, varying in shape and size. It's thin and rough, like an old man, weird and wrinkled, yet somehow very tough.
The kids come and they listen to a short part of an audiobook, and we talk about sights and signs and feelings and smells, and they take a bit to do some descriptive writing.
It seems like a place where things could happen. I like magic stories, and this just seems like a magic place.
All right, where are we going?
Where are we going?
Okay.
We're going over here.
No. It's the science quality.
Water quality test.
These
down there?
It's down at the dock, I think.
Good morning. My name is Jay Barber. I work for the Conservation Department. I work out of the Springfield office, and I work in outreach and education. So we're going to learn a little bit about water quality here.
First thing we learned is that water quality is pretty complicated.
So creeks and streams usually have oxygen, even during the summer when it's very low flow. Cold water can take in more oxygen. One, then we shake a little bit. 2 parts per million, shake, it's still yellow. Mark that down, and then convert that over to 52 in Fahrenheit.
It's all about sediment and pH and water temperature and oxygen. A whole lot about oxygen. And we quickly learned that oxygen is real important.
Fish are better at taking oxygen out of the water than you are taking oxygen out of the air. But we're going to pretend you're a fish. Okay, ready, set, go. You got to hold your breath for 30 seconds, only one breath after that, and you hold it again for 30 more. Okay, you ready to take a breath? Take another breath. One quick one, back in. Fish do not laugh. They giggle a little bit, they don't laugh.
We've been doing a lot of field trip. We've done a lot of activities with it and see what we can do to help preserve the water and environment around us. So it's been really fun.
All right, good, okay.
Aren't trout beautiful creatures? What incredible colors! I guess that's why they call it a rainbow trout. Let's visit another Missouri school where the kids are getting up close and personal with trout and learning a bit about the natural world in the process.
These fourth graders from West Plains, Missouri are taking the eggs they collect here today back to their classroom. The kids are beginning a 6-month investigation on the lifestyle of Mr. Rainbow Trout.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are the eggs doing today?
Great. All right.
Are they going to hatch soon, you think?
Yeah.
We decided that they were going to hatch this week, so we've been real excited all week. First thing in the morning, it's right to the aquarium to see if it's happened overnight.
After 6 months in the classroom, it's finally time for Mrs. Bird's class to release their trout. It's been fun for the boys and girls, and they had a chance to learn something.
Okay. Let them go.
Fishing is an easy sport to pick up. We can get you started with just a few tips. You'll need a rod and a reel with the right rigging. When you tie on your hook or lure, use a knot that won't come loose on the first tug. Thread your line through the eye of the hook or lure about 6 inches and fold it back on itself. Holding both pieces of line, rotate the hook 10 half turns until the line is twisted. Insert the end of the line between the hook and the first twist, making a loop. Bring it back through that loop and pull on both pieces of line. That will tighten the knot and snug it up against the eye. Trim the end, leaving about a 1/4 inch. Don't just bite it off, it's really hard on your teeth. I'm using a weight and bobber and a nice juicy worm. This is good for bluegill, catfish, carp, crappie, and trout. If you thread the worm onto the hook, it's less likely to be pecked off by the smaller fish. If you're after walleye, muskie, crappie, bass, or trout, try a minnow. Hook it through the mouth or back. If you'd like more information, just write to us. We'll have the address for you at the end of the show.
One of the largest fish in Missouri is the paddlefish, also nicknamed spoonbills because of their large paddle-shaped snouts. They can grow longer than 5 feet and weigh more than 60 pounds. They're also long-lived and can survive more than 20 years.
When dusk falls, you depend on your hearing even more to identify the animals around you. So can you tell which animal makes this sound? Is it an elk, a great horned owl, a bullfrog, or a white-tailed buck? Listen again. It's a bullfrog. And here's another memory trick to help you remember his call. Some people think he's saying jug of rum.
Are you sort of getting today's theme? It's water. A simple thing, but so essential that all life depends on it. Back at the Willard Environmental Odyssey, students are learning what clean water really means.
Okay, you guys got boots? We're gonna be in the water.
Okay, so it's bound to happen. You get a bunch of kids together, put them near a creek, and we're gonna get wet. Guaranteed. Our next station dealt with language. We were to describe the condition of this creek. Once again, talking about water quality, but this time we were out in it.
I want you all to look over here along the riverbank. What do you see?
Erosion.
From what?
From water. Cows and
Water. Okay, look how the ground looks here. Had this farmer put trees all along that bank there, he wouldn't have had that erosion caused by the cows or the water washing out.
It's amazing, but a creek looks different when your feet are wet. You notice more, see more, feel more.
This is language. They're like looking in the water and seeing like what humans have done.
There's a tire over here!
And there's erosion on the banks.
From the language station, we were headed to the biology station. In this case, we were talking about aquatic invertebrates.
It's right there, I promise, right there.
I think those are little crawly things that live in the water. Funny, I don't think we're gonna stay dry here either.
Oh, it's cold.
One of the most common that we were finding in there were mayflies. Easy way to remember mayflies, most of them do have three-tailed filaments like May, M-A-Y, so that's an easy way to remember them.
We're identifying macroinvertebrates, which are like the little bugs that live in streams and rivers. And then we learned how to identify them and stuff, and we looked at them in little jars, and now we're here collecting them and looking at them and identifying them.
This is a crawdad.
And today what's happening is the kids are getting a chance to see how much fun it is to be outside to learn, and that learning can be fun and being outside is fun.
Well, we took the kid knights out there and two people held them, and then one person like did a goofy dance in front of it, and that would get all the bugs and stuff up in the kick nets, and then we brought them back here and we're identifying them now.
What better combination? And they're just rotating around through stations and learn about aquatic education.
You know what I like most about fishing? Catching. If I'm out here with the rod and reel, I want some action. And you know where you can find a whole lot of action? Any Missouri farm pond. We're talking about bluegill, monster bluegill.
I like to do a lot of kinds of fishing, but I always seem to get a kick out of bluegill fishing just about as well as any kind.
Jerry Case has always been an avid fisherman, but his love for the sport really peaks each time he grabs his fly rod and goes in search of bluegill. Big bluegill.
They really fight, I tell you, for their size, they're just amazing. If a bluegill got up to 10 pounds, I'm not sure you'd hardly be able to land one on a conventional tackle.
The easiest time to catch bluegill is during peak spawning periods. In most areas of Missouri, that occurs during the months of May and June.
If you can find a location where the fish are really concentrated spawning, it can just be non-stop action, and kids can really get turned on to fishing by fishing for bluegill.
Bluegill don't get very big. The Missouri state record is about 3 pounds. But for their relatively small size, they can produce a lot of excitement.
You can catch them year-round, and they're readily available, and you don't have to book flights to Alaska or whatever to catch bluegill. They're usually within a couple of miles of just about anybody in the state.
All kinds of critters make sounds, and when you can't see what's calling, it can be hard to tell if it's a bird or mammal or something else. Try this one. Is that a leopard frog, a cicada, a turkey hen, or a bobcat? Here it is again. It's a leopard frog. Some Native Americans view frogs as symbols of emotional healing and peace. I think sitting on the porch at dusk listening to a leopard frog is about as peaceful as it gets these days.
It's a gorgeous day weather-wise, but we've got some real problems on the roads and highways.
I should have gone fishing today.
It's bumper-to-bumper traffic out there, so expect some long delays.
Should have gone fishing.
Are you stuck in a rut? Why not try a career in broadcasting?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
It's the call-in show that helps you get the most out of your fishing trip, or at least tell you what line to use. This is Phil the Fish Guy on Walleye Radio, WALI-FM with Fish Talk. Today's topic, proper fish handling techniques, also known as the art of catch and release. It's a simple practice that will make both you and the fish feel better. The phone lines are already hopping, so let's get right to our first caller, Jeff from Joplin.
What's this about releasing fish? Why would I want to? Man, I love to eat them.
Well, there are several reasons we release fish and why it's important to handle them properly. One, some people don't like to eat fish or the mess of cleaning them up. They simply enjoy fishing. Two, you may be required by regulation to release a non-keeper-sized fish, or you're fishing in a catch and release area only. And three, you want others to have the chance to catch the same big fish you caught. Our topic is proper fish handling. From Hannibal, I've got Hank on the line. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I heard that if you file or squeeze your barbs, it'll be easier to release fish.
That's correct.
Yeah, but won't that make it easier for the fish to jump off my line?
Yes, it will. But it will also teach you how to properly keep your line taut at all times. Down Sykeston way, we've got Steve. What's your question?
Hey, Phil, I enjoy fishing, and I've heard that fish will die from the exhaustion of just being pulled in. What do you do to prevent this?
You need to choose line and equipment so you can bring the fish in quickly. Fish need all their energy to survive a catch. Okay, time for another caller. Hank from Hannibal. Hank, you again?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was wondering...
Yes?
Well, you know how most fish are slimy?
Right, yes.
Well, if a fish slimes you, will you die?
Hank, with you, I suppose anything's possible. But for the rest of our listeners, no. But you do want to avoid excessive handling of the fish. This slime coating helps protect many fish from disease. Now, if handling is necessary, like trout, hold it firmly, but don't squeeze it or drop the fish. Okay, time for Hank to take a break. Next, I've got Claire from Clinton.
Hi, Phil. I like to go catfishing, and I use mostly stink baits and worms. But what do I do with a fish that has swallowed my hook and I don't want to keep it?
Good question. You should never pull a hook from a fish's throat or stomach. Instead, it's better to cut the line closest to the hook. Many hooks will rust away, and the fish has a better chance to survive. This is Phil the Fish Guy with Fish Talk Radio. Safe fish handling is our topic of discussion. Jerry from Jeff City, what's on your mind?
Is it safe to land a fish like trout without a net?
It can be done, but I recommend using a landing net. I prefer the knotless cotton type. Just think of it as a third hand to control the fish, which helps to shorten the handling time, and we know how critical that is. Okay, time for one last caller, and it's Hank from Hannibal. Again, you are one persistent piranha.
Well, Phil, you've had all the answers.
I thrive on knowing my fish facts.
But what we all really want to know is...
Yes?
Phil, do you still wear that goofy-looking hat?
Hey, it's a real parking lot out there. Looks like a good day to go fishing.
I really should have gone fishing today.
A lot about being a good fisherman involves understanding what fish eat and where they live. Back at the Environmental Odyssey, students are getting hands-on instruction on what it's like to be a fish.
I guess I never really thought much about what it would be like to be a fish, but this guy has.
First of all, I'm Don Berry, and I'm a professional fisherman. I was asked today to come do a little excerpt on stream fishing. I got my start fishing on a stream just about like this right here. I was about 12 years old. And stream fishing is something that is just great because you can get out and do it by yourself. If we didn't have all of these...
He's telling us about all the fish that is in the stream. He's telling us what we need to use and like what bait is good and about like the fishing poles and stuff.
There's a lot more to fishing than a worm, a line, and a bamboo pole. These guys have got it down to a science. In fact, there is a lot of science involved. You have to know all about water temperature and aquatic life, all sorts of stuff.
So I probably would take a bait that would look a little bit like a minnow. See that? See that long tail on it, how it moves around a little bit?
The most important thing I learned about fishing is that you have to think like a fish. And as wet as our feet were, that didn't require a big leap of imagination.
Okay, this one's softer, and they shed this skin as they grow, so they'll shed, and that's probably what he's done.
Well, I love fishing, and I like to go with my grandma, and I like to be in the water and stuff.
There's no getting around math, even during an environmental odyssey. Our last station concerned mapping, and in keeping with our aquatic theme, the terrain we were mapping was very wet.
Each one of the stakes that I want you to plot the points for are labeled with a letter. For example, this is A right here. This stake is A.
We've got the y-axis, which is going down, up and down. Then the x-axis, which is going across. And we're just trying to find the coordinates of them.
Every unit that we have taught this year, in some way, we've tried to make it a real-life issue, using the environmental education as our thread kind of that has gone throughout the year. So everything that the kids are doing today has had something to do with a prior learning experience that they've had in the classroom. For example, our math groups are doing area and perimeter, and they are actually finding the area and perimeter of the water, and then we'll talk about all the organisms that we find in that area and perimeter when we get back into our classrooms to tie it in again.
I think it's better working out here than it is in a classroom.
I think you learn a lot better when you're having fun.
When you think of fishing, what do you imagine? Warm summer days, a cool stream or pond, maybe some frogs croaking or a few dragonflies buzzing in the background? Sounds like summer, right? Well, fishing is a year-round sport, and Missouri has a small but dedicated group of anglers that get out in the dead of winter. We're talking about cold, wind, and ice. Lots of ice.
Can you eat something? Get your mind off cartoons and eat?
Everyone's up early at the Jaeger house this morning.
Now go eat. Come on, hurry up so we can go.
5-year-old Jason wants breakfast to be over fast so he and his dad can head out fishing. But this is February, and if you want to fish, you've got to carve instead of cast and opt for a warm pair of boots over a boat. It's not exactly fishing for the frail.
Well, where's our lucky spot? We gotta find our lucky spot here.
You might wonder, how can any fish be worth the chance of falling through the ice? Well, Doug's rule of thumb is, if the ice is less than 4 inches thick, forget it.
This is how we spend a lot of time ice fishing, isn't it, Jason? Dad fishes and you play around in the ice in the woods.
How can I hold it?
The thing is, I've discovered with ice fishing, if you you move around a lot, you're going to find the fish. I don't think the fish are that active during the winter time, and you kind of find you find that deep water and find them. It's nonstop action.
That's not the case today with a grand total of 1 bluegill. But what a fun day.
It's a good thing Mom had supper or lunch already made for us when we got home, wasn't it? Since we didn't catch any fish, except one. Now who's going to catch the biggest fish tomorrow? You are.
Well, Well, it's obvious I've got a lot more to learn about casting a dry fly, but I have learned a lot about the aquatic environment. Our water resources are incredibly important, and it's up to us to make sure they stay healthy and clean. Missouri Outdoors, what an incredible classroom. Thanks for tuning in.